I think the first impression I ever had that we must recognize the limitations of our own abilities. We may have university degrees, we may have been professors, we may be extremely highly regarded as competent experts, but we must also remember that when we deal with reality, which is a very complicated thing compared with what you study in a university, you need something other than your knowledge. You need to be wise as well as being clever. And this was first brought home to me by my father. My father was eventually His Majesty's Principal Surveyor of Mercantile Shipping. And when I was very small, Britain was then by far the biggest, had the biggest merchant fleet in the world. So looking after its safety measures, the design of its ships and so forth was a very important job. My father, when I was 5 years of age in 1912, was a major contributor to the inquiry into the loss of Titanic, which had sunk in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with a loss of 1,500 lives. And I can remember as a little boy of 5 the excitement of all this. But later on I asked my father what he thought he had learned most from this inquiry. And he said, it is the difference between cleverness and wisdom. You can have all kinds of clever people who will design vessels for you, all kinds of able mariners to run them out to sea for you. But if you run into unusual conditions, you may have not only have a lot of experts who understand this, that, and the other. You may need wise people who take a wider view and say, look here, I think I understand this, but there are certain very profound questions I should be asking myself. If I run away with the idea that I understand everything there is because I am expertly qualified, I'm not only get into trouble, but people around me too. Now this I picked up when I was quite young, but it came out later on when I, at the age of 23, when I entered the Cavendish, no, 21. I entered the Cavendish laboratory at Cambridge, which was without any doubt the biggest concentration of intellectual ability on human record. We had 10 Nobel Prize winners at the time, 10 Nobel Prize winners in one laboratory. There are many states which are glad to have one Nobel Prize winner among its total inhabitants. Many universities which are very proud to have one in the whole university. We had 10 in one department, physics. And there I learned what my father, I saw what my father had said about the difference between being clever and being wise. Because once a week, all these geniuses, and for 7 years I shared their company, all these geniuses met, they had a seminar, and you were allowed and encouraged to speak at that seminar on condition that you spoke about things which weren't going well with your work. I haven't met any organization anywhere else where the people got together in order to barter their ignorance, their confusion, their misunderstandings. Normally when clever people get together, my golly, you should see how they behave. Their sole, their only activity is to convince each other that they know more about what's going on than anybody else. But the Titanic inquiry didn't run to that effect, nor did the Cavendish. And I've heard Rutherford, a marvellous chap, son of a New Zealand sheep farmer, say more than once, what impresses me most about this discussion is my own bloody ignorance. What does yours look like to you? So that was long, long ago, and one time a chap called Einstein turned up at this, and I had one or two conversations, even cleaned the blackboard for him. So Action learning came out of quite serious discussions about how we were trying to do such things as discover the neutron or find out what the atom was. So there, I learned that topics can be very interesting, but you must never run away with the idea that you understand them. And action learning has, in the subsequent 50 years, said, look, if we really are going to understand the mess this, whatever it may be, is in, it's not enough to rely upon our expert knowledge. Expert knowledge is necessary, but it is not sufficient. We have to learn how to ask ourselves totally different questions. That's what action learning is.